Day crafty chums, it's Nikki here, aka Carson the Cat, aka Carson the Cat's Life, and I'm just coming at you today with a little vloggity vlog. I haven't done one in ages. I'm just getting on my channel so that I can see chat if anybody decides to join me. Don't know how well I'm going to live stream. Could be good, could be terrible, but anyway, there we go. We're on air. Things are going. Hi Patrick. I'm just chatting today, so nothing much going on here. Yeah, I just thought I'd come on and chat because I haven't done a vlog in ages, and because I've sort of got out the habit of them. But there you go. So I thought I'd talk about acrylic pours and the reality of not having enough space and living somewhere where it's cold and your acrylic pours take a long time to dry. So yeah, I thought I'd just have a little bit of chat about that and what's going on in my life. Because as you may know, you won't know, Patrick, because you're new to my channel and to me. But I've been looking for a job for ages, and I eventually got a job about 7 weeks ago now. And tomorrow is going to be my 90-day review to see whether they're going to keep me on or not. So tomorrow could be a big choppy chop day for me, or they could keep me on. It's a little bit disconcerting because I haven't had any work this week. So maybe I'm for the big push tomorrow, who knows? Not me. So I thought I'd just come on and have a bit of a whinge. And took me so long to get this darn job, and now I may not even hold on to it. So we'll see. Who knows? Yeah, thanks. So yeah, so that's tomorrow afternoon. I've got to go through that torment. Yeah, they'll put you on temporary contracts here for 90 days so that they can just give you the big old elbow if they don't like you. And it's really weird because I've stayed out of trouble and out the way and kept my mouth shut and done my job. So we'll see. Never mind. So acrylic pours. I just wanted to talk about if it's cold where you are, it takes forever for the paint to dry. Yeah, man, it's annoying. And then of course I can't varnish because it's too cold to varnish as well. You can't varnish indoors here. The house is too small and the fumes are just hey, more time for arting. Yeah, no space though. So I've had to wait an overly long time for my acrylic pours to dry, and then I can't really varnish them because it's too cold. I've just got a couple outside now because of the fumes and that of the varnishes. Yeah. So yeah, so I just talked about the reality of it is that small space, so I don't have, so I've got to wait for everything to dry and to varnish before I can get on to the next lot. And it's come to a standstill, of course, because it's just too cold. So there you go. There you go. So these are the last acrylic pours I did. They're not varnished yet. So I'm just going to bring them in to have a look and to see the various states that they get into, like with the cat hair. While I'm waiting for them to dry in a limited space. So there you go. These are my last round I did. And of course I like to work on the wooden blocks, but of course while you're waiting for them to dry, your newspaper sticks to the bottoms. But this is only testing, so I'm not too worried about that. This is a testing pour, but this actually is quite a good one. I get more success pouring onto wood than I do pouring onto canvas. Well, that's how I feel. I feel that the outcome, the way they look in, you know, smoothness and everything else, is better on the wood. I actually really like pouring on wood. So yeah, I may try and get myself some cheaper plywood or something get my son-in-law to chop them up into canvas size pieces or something. I don't know whether to go down to 4x4s or not, but that's what I'm thinking anyway. But I really like this one, and it's a shame that the paper's all stuck to it, but that'll come off with a bit of sanding or something. So yeah, so that's Tessa. But even so, with my paints, with it being so cold, is that I have trouble getting them smooth. So that's a little blob paint I got there, but doesn't really show on it. It's unvarnished. Hi, Eileen. So it's unvarnished, but and I've got that little blob paint there, but it's okay. It's not too bad. Probably if I manage to ever get to varnish, it will be good. I was reading, or I heard, or someone mentioned the other day that when they varnish on wood, they also do the backs as well to stop the moisture getting in once it's varnished on the one side, and that helps to prevent the warping. So I don't know where I was when I either read or heard that, but that's just so. So there you go. And which one do I want to talk about next? I did that one after, so these were the same time. So this one here is turned out really good. I missed a couple of bits on the side, but because I've got the white on the top and that doesn't really show, and it's dried really well. What was it? Oh yeah. And because it takes so long for it to dry in the cold, is that even though I think it's dry, it's not. And then I put my finger on it and I did it there, but I managed to pour some more paint on there to cover up my little finger paw print. So that actually turned out rather nice and worked out well. So, and I did this one with the red streaks in with just pulling along did I pull along the toothpick? Yeah, I did. I've got a skewer, barbecue skewer somewhere, and I just put the red on that and then dripped it across and then pulled out some lines, and I think it worked out quite nicely. So yeah, that's a good one. Also, as well with the Floetrol, is that I find that my paws with Floetrol are thin. So if you look at this one here, it's really quite nice. It's you know, I've got some interesting things going on and colours and that. But when you look at the sides, because it's thin, because the Floetrol is thin, you can see the canvas. And I'm not too happy with the sides and that, but I may paint over this one on the sides because I quite like the way it looked. I do have, again, I don't even know if you can see. Oh yeah, you can. If I get my little pointer cursor, I've still got dirty nails. Can't get my nails clean after pouring. Oh man, it's horrible. So yeah, here, can you see it there? That's a lump as well. I've got a lump there and a lump there, a little lump of paint. But to be honest with you, again, it just adds to it, doesn't it? It didn't look too bad with the little lumps of paint on there, so that's okay. And this one here, where I did the again, I did put the blue paint on and then dragged it, and I actually really like that. I may do another pour next week where I actually draw a tree in or something into the pour. I'm thinking of doing that because it kind of works out well. It would sort of look good for a tree of life, wouldn't it? Which is kind of what I'm thinking this is, a little bit like the tree of life, but maybe I'll do the pour and make it a deliberate tree of life. And again, the Floetrol is a little bit thin in places, and you can see the canvas, through it. On top it looks okay, but the sides and some of the corners over the edges as well are a little bit thin. So of course painting it first would take care of that, which I may do, but I'm thinking of doing the tree of life on my next acrylic pour. So yeah, as I'm get a little bit more room now, these are dry, and I know I can't really varnish them yet because it's just too cold. And this one turned out really well. I don't have any lumps in it, so this is a really good pour because I don't have the lumps, which I'm really happy about. I have no lumps. Hi Debbie. Hi Sarah. Hi Janet. Sorry, I was so into my flow then that I forgot to look at the who was coming. I'm just thinking I'm alone, just say my thoughts out loud on it. So there's that one there, and this was a good one, and can't wait to get it varnished up. So, but not yet because it's still too cold. And then this one, which I did after I turned the cameras off. I did this one and poured it, and then I was left with this great big blob of turquoise there. Well, it's actually teal, but it's showing up bluey on the screen. So I was left with this area that was just there. So I put in some more of the red and then just swirled it around with a stick and things to get that one there. And I'm not sure whether I like this one or not. I am not sure. And again, you know, canvas through the side. I'm not actually sure how these are supposed to look on the sides, but this is the sides came out really good on this one. You know, it's I got a really good pouring over the edges as well, which is something that is quite difficult to do, especially if you do a deep canvas. Deep canvas edges are actually really difficult to cover with the pour. It's yeah, this is a pour on top of a pour. I didn't like the pour that went before, but it turned out interesting nonetheless because the whites, you can see the green through it anyway. So but a pour on top of a pour, and this turned out nicely. But this one is varnished, but you can't tell that on the sides really. But yeah, pours are difficult to get interest on over the sides, but especially deep sides. Okay, Debbie. See you again. Thanks for popping in. So yeah, the sides, and this one is another good pour. I do have a blob of paint there, but that was because I was scraping out the bottom of the cap and I was scraping out some of the flecks there. So from there, it's a good pour. But yeah, but I'm not sure whether I like it. I don't know. And this is a pour again that I've got on wood, and I really like that. And what I did was I painted the sides. Actually, painted the sides. I haven't varnished this one yet because it's a bit lumpy in that, so I'm not sure whether I want to go ahead and continue with it. You can see it's lumped up there. Back here, it's got lumpy, came up lumpy. So I think part of my problem here is that my room's too cold for the pours. So, and then there's, hi Wendy. So I got to show you this one as well, which is well and truly stuck to the papers. But again, this was another practice one, so I'm not worried about that. And so this is the last one I did that was a big one, and it cracked up horribly. Can you see it all cracked and blistered up? And yeah, I don't know what happened there. It might be, I was just trying to figure out this, but of course what I did, can you see this? I don't know whether you can actually see this. I don't know whether it's because I've got gesso underneath, and I don't normally gesso the wood. I normally just let it go as it is. But I gessoed over because of the paper. Now thinking of it is I've gessoed over a paper image, and where all this this is here, I can see the image that I've got underneath come through. So thinking of it is that that's the paper that's underneath with the gesso, because I gessoed over all of it. And where the paper isn't underneath, I've got a beautiful pour all around here that doesn't go over the paper. So So yeah, so that's a shame because that was quite a nice pour too, but it was only a practice piece to see how it went over gesso and that. But it's quite funny. I don't know whether I can catch it in the light. But yeah, there's my half crescent moon shape there. So it's that. What it is it this I've got under there where I was practicing doing the paper transfers, and this one didn't work out very well, so I just said over it, and this one worked out much better, and it's quite smooth under there, so maybe I could have did it on the wrong side or something. But yeah, crazy. I could actually make something of this. I could paint in the moon again over there and the little image there, and it would work out quite well, I think, if I painted over the top of it. So I may do that because I've already painted over, shown you this one before. I've already painted over one of my canvases with a mermaid, that didn't come out very nice. It's all very lumpy, bumpy, and horrible, cracked and horrible. So I just painted a mermaid on there. So I may do the same sort of thing with this one here. So but you know, the crescent moon and that. What, this one? You like this one? Looks like a beach scene. Cool. Could put a dead mermaid on there, couldn't I? Flapping, floating in the thing. Right, okay, so there was that. And as I say, I think I'm having problems with it because my room's not hot enough, or when I have heating on twice a day in my room, and that's 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening, and the rest of the day it's cold. So it could be that the extremes in temperature in my room are causing me problems with the drying times and things. So I don't know. But it takes a long time for them to become even touch dry. It's they're taking at least 3 days to touch dry. So yeah, it's a shame, but you know, these things you do if you want to get something nice. So coming on to next is my drop paper things that I'm doing on cardstock. And what I have done is, of course, turned these papers into to bookmarks. My granddaughter's already taken my first bookmark, so so I had to do some more. And so I've got so I'm just turning mine into bookmarks, because I know people don't use books very much now, but still some people still do. And even if they don't use them, it's what's going to happen is they'll have a little bit of my art there as well, eh? So yeah, I'm just making lots of bookmarks at the moment to go in Happy Mail. I'm going to finish off the backs, obviously, because you can't really send it like that because it looks too scruffy, doesn't it? So that's what I'm doing with these little drop papers and things I've got there. So Wendy's just asked me, how thick does the paint stay on the paws? How thick does the paint stay on the paws? Do you mean how thick does it have to be? Yeah, I know you do, Eileen. And one's coming to you with your little paw, but not one of these, because I don't want you to see it. It's coming in your little package I'm sending for your birthday. Just waiting for the for another coat of varnish to go on yours, but I just gotta. It's just too cold at the moment. Now, is it thick? Are my paws thick? No, my paws are thin. I really worry about that, because when I look at other people's paws, my paws seem to be a lot thinner than theirs. But yeah. But quite often people will show you, and they don't show you a real close-up of what it looks like dried, and they're not really pointing out any imperfections that I see. So I don't know. I don't know. No, mine's thin after drying. Oh, after drying. Well, if I show you this one, and if I come really, really, really close, and it may or may not focus on it, but I can see all the canvas through it. You know, all the little lumps and bumps on the canvas through it. And I can just about see it on top, but not like I can see it on the sides. You know, the paw is very, very thin on the sides, and on some of the paws I've got, on the bits that go over the edge, that's where your least amount of paint goes on there. It's yeah, and you can overcome that by painting it first and then just lipping it round. But and I may do that, but as I say, on the wood block here, I just decided to paint over the sides where the paw didn't come over very well, so I just painted it in one color. And that's another thing you can do, is afterwards just paint over the sides. If you're not happy with the sides, just find out which is your predominant color and then just go over, because that works as well. Yeah, yeah, it is thin. If you have it too thick, it just I'll show you thicker ones that I have. This is one that I did, you know, one of my very first ones I did, that I did with the with a PVA glue. So that's a PVA glue paw, and it's quite thick. I didn't, you know, it's one of my first ones, but even with the PVA glue paw, as it goes over the sides, it thins out. So yeah, so it's quite thin, quite thin. I still haven't done my demon lady yet. She'll be there eventually, don't worry. I'll get round to it. Demon lady. Yeah. So it's really difficult to show on camera and things just how thin it is. But my first couple of pours were really almost transparent. I mean, I was using the Liquitex pouring medium, and that is so thin it just almost runs straight away, almost runs totally off the canvas. It is so thin, it's like ridiculous. And I spent $80 on that tub. Oh, very frustrating that you spend that much money on something that's supposed to work, and it just almost falls off the canvas straight away. If you go and see one of my first pours, I think one of the first ones there, it's just like it was like I almost cried. I almost cried, because it's just like, wow. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. Yeah, crazy. I know. I'll show you. This bottle of Liquitex pouring medium, right, in New Zealand dollars, $80. And it's and I've still got like half there, but I don't want to use it anymore because it cost me so much money and I haven't had that much success with it. So it's like, lid's stuck on, I can't get it off. So yeah, $80, and it's so thin. It's watery, you know. It's very thin. And in the first couple of pours I did as well, with the Floetrol, and the Floetrol, I didn't shake it up well enough, and I had some disasters with that as well. So you really, really do have to give the Floetrol a really, really good shake before you mix it with your paint, otherwise you're in big trouble. So yeah, so if people tell you to shake it some more. Yeah, I'll show you. So this Floetrol, how much is in there? 1 litre, and this is 946 ml. I paid $80 for this, and I paid 25 for that. I think it was 25, and I'll only use the Floetrol now because it works so well. Floetrol and acrylic paint, because it works better than anything else. PVA glue is okay. I mean, the PVA pours, but you get like, you know, do I have to say any more? Do I have to say any more about how the Floetrol works as to how PVA glue works? You know, it's like, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? Chalk and cheese. PVA Floetrol. PVA Floetrol. So yeah, PVA glue works, it just doesn't work in the same way that the Floetrol does and that. Hi Julie. Big difference in price for me, you know. I'm sure that people in America get their Floetrol and from their Liquitex from Michaels or whatever, and you know, use their coupons and get it real cheap, but no, we can't get it cheap here. So no. Crazy. Crazy people, crazy prices. Have I got anything else to show you? So yeah, so as I say, my next pour is going to be a Tree of Life, I think. Or I might do negative space pours. I haven't decided. So but I need a bigger canvas for a negative space pour. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking there. And of course then there's my cards. But you've all seen those, haven't you? So my cards. So I did my little thing with my cards. Make a card. I didn't do a tutorial on these because these are just like super easy to make. Super easy, super simple. So, but you know, this was just using some leftover pieces of design paper that I had, and I could do the same with. I could do the same with these as well, you know, because these are my book paper mop-ups that I've got from acrylic pours, and I could do the same sort of thing, you know, cut it into squares and pop it onto a card like that. But man, I love these. Look at that. I sometimes love the things on paper more than I do on the canvas and that. So I think it works really well. Yeah. And what's really good is that if you get a really nice plate, you could just cut it out and use that. I think, you know, wow, they're just prettier, aren't they? Just like, oh, it's a swipe. I did a swipe on there. That was a mop. So yeah. Oh, look, this was a huge swipe I did. Swiped it. I'd worked whatever it was so much that when I swiped it, there was nothing left on there. It gave up the ghost. Gave up the ghost, it did. So yeah. So here's some cards that I was making. Man, and I need to oh look, glittery. I don't often do glittery. I need to get some different flowers, I think. Where's it? Cute, huh? Oh man. Oh yeah, there was one more one I wanted to show you. Okay, so this one here. Oh, thanks for that, Becky. So this one here is terrible. It's terrible. Look at that. This was so thin, look. You can absolutely see the canvas through that one, much better than I was showing you with the other ones. So yeah. But this one, oh man, this was the day I had all those lumps in the paint and I just couldn't get them out. I'll show you the lumpy bits first. All down here. These are like great big lumps of paint in there. And then I've got loads of pockmark splits. I've got lots and lots and lots of splits. Just all the way down, it's all split. Split, 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 split. Pockmark, pockmark. So these are the air bubbles. These little craters here that I can put my little thing in. These must have been air bubbles. And these are lumps of paint. And then I don't know what all these splits were. Could be the heat control that I don't have in my room. But anyway, this is really bad. But I am going to turn this one into a mixed media piece because I actually quite like the way it looks, apart from all the lumps and that. So I am going to turn this one into a mixed media piece. I don't know whether I'm going to do it live or whether I'm going to do it as a video. I'll probably do it as a video because it might take a long time to get this one done. But yeah, so I've decided, you know, that I'll work on this canvas this coming week probably, especially if I'm given the sack, especially if they decide not to keep me on over the weekend. So yeah, after my 90-day review, we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I may have more time again to do my work. I'll come on and let you know if they keep me on, or whether I have to cry and look for another job. So the clients, the clients like me. I got my flowers and things from the clients. So it's just whether the employers like me, isn't it? So yes. So there we are. I'm going to be working on that one, but not yet. Not yet, because I'm not in the mood for it. But guess what's going to go on here, Eileen? Yeah, texture. This is why I'm going to turn it into a mixed media piece. I think it'll make a really nice mixed media canvas. Guess what's going on here, Eileen? It does. I actually love it. I love the way the striations and everything going round, and you know, it's like, it's just a shame that it all split up and that. Just such a shame. What is it? Wow, it is a cheap canvas because it's got this thing in there. I thought it's one of my. I haven't poured on one of my more. I poured on one expensive canvas, and it worked out so poorly that I decided to just buy the cheap canvases to give it a go further on. Mermaid, yes. How could you think anything else? Yeah, Wendy, don't worry if your pores are thin. Just worry if they're very, very thin. You know, just test on something that you don't need first. A boat. Oh. Yeah. Anybody names begin with H? Make a bookmark and give it to my granddaughter. Actually, her initials begin with H. Boat. Crazy man. Yeah, so I just came on just to have a little bit of chat about the pores and why I think I'm, you know, having some problems is because just of the cold. Yeah, it's taken a long time to dry these out. A couple of holding hands. Oh, schmoochy. Bye, Wendy. Schmoochy. Oh, look, I let my cup of tea go cold as well. It's no good, is it? I went to see a psychic medium last night in the local town hall where we are here. Her name's Sue Nicholson, and she does a program in New Zealand called Sensing Murder. And said that was a fab night. She's hilarious. She's really, really funny. It's a good show to go to. Even if you don't believe, it's a good show to go to because she's hilarious, man. Had such a laugh. She's really good. Really good. And no, I wasn't contacted by any members of my family. It's crazy. Yes, so that's all I had to say, really. Just came on to do that. Have a little bit whinge about my job, having to go for my 90-day review to see whether they'll keep me on or not. It's torture, I tell you, torture. Shouldn't be allowed. Crazy. Oh well, time to go. Time to get lunch, I think. Bite to eat. And then prep for tomorrow's live stream with Eileen on International Crafters. Yes, we've got something to prep. I know it's bad if we prep. I'm not going to prep, really. I'm not prepping, Eileen. I'm not going to cheat and prep. It'll all be done like live in the moment. No prepping. Yep. Bye all. Gotta go. See ya. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for joining me and listening to me having a moan and a whinge. Yeah, thanks. It's tomorrow afternoon. It'll be after the live stream tomorrow. I'll have to pack up straight up and drive on out to get my interview. So it'll be a good relaxing thing for me to do the live stream before having my 90-day review. So yeah. So bye. Thanks for joining me.